Hello, guys. So, this is the fifth interview of the Branding Summit. My name is Sasha, and I am the founder of SashaIsabella.com, if you didn't already know. And today I'm going to be interviewing Samantha of Hype Social Strategies, all about branding and growing your social media. So, let's jump right in. Hi, Samantha. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you? I'm
Really good.
super
So,
excited for this interview. I think it's going to be lots
Yeah,
of
I'm
fun.
so excited. So why don't you jump in and tell us a little bit about what you do over at Hype Social Strategies?
Okay. My name is Samantha Parker. Like she said, I am a social media manager and a social media strategist. And in a nutshell, I support online business owners and entrepreneurs with social media strategies. And then additionally, I have clients that I manage all of their social media accounts. So that could be anything from like just interacting with people all day to actually creating all their content and executing it for them. That side of my business keeps me really, really busy. But my favorite part about my business is the blog aspect of it. I love blogging and I love talking about social media because I've seen how it can really transform a business and take them to new places. So that's kind of, I spend most of my day literally on Instagram. I love Instagram. So.
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing I wanted to ask you about is actually all about Instagram. So uh, as you guys might know, Samantha has a banging Instagram account. She is really, really awesome at it. So I would love to know, how exactly do you keep your brand consistent through Instagram?
So I have like a brand profile. So like I'll take and I'll write down so I know I always use the same fonts. I always use the same colors. If a photo has white and hot pink, that kind of like I can keep that transitioning. So when you go to my Instagram feed, everything kind of matches and looks the same. And it's also kind of recognizable. Like people will be like, hey, that's you. So I keep my brand super consistent through the visual aspect of it. And then I also use Instagram for my brand by just using my voice. So like I talk how I talk to my clients. I talk like I'm real life. I say some questionable things sometimes, and people, I just really like put everything I have into it. I am pretty transparent. I love to just let people know what I know. And so kind of like being able to share my knowledge and use my voice is like something that I've tried really hard to stay true to in my brand.
Yeah, definitely. And you do a great job of that. So how about photos? I know a lot of people, they aren't sure, should I use stock photos? Should I take my own photos? And sort of how do you light and style them? Uh, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's kind of two questions. So stock photos, I'll just kind of address that first. I love stock photos. I think stock photos are great. If you find like a stock photo like that really matches your brand, I totally use it. I might like put a text overlay on top of it or add a quote to it. But like stock photos, seriously, and I know some people are like stock photos, but I love stock photos. I know as an entrepreneur and a busy lady, like I don't have time to take all of my own photos. So I think integrating stock photos in, I mean, it's a no-brainer. If I need a photo of like something that I don't have, like I can sometimes turn to stock photography to use that. And that's not just for my brand. I do it for the other businesses that I create their content for. And so I know when people think social media, maybe you only need a blog, but I create content for like a chiropractor, a cleaning company, and I utilize stock photos a lot for those companies
Yeah,
because they need a photo of like someone holding their neck because their neck hurts. I don't have to go out and hire a model and a photographer to do that. I can just jump on and grab a stock photo, and I try to just look for the same colors and patterns to make it consistent to their brand. And then secondly, you said take your own photos. I do take my own photos. I have a mix of them, and I'm sure you can tell which photos I took and which photos were, professionally done, but on my own Instagram. But so I've told people all the time, they're like, I just don't know how to take my own photos. I literally own, I should have grabbed it. I own the white boards that you can buy. Like they're the white foam boards. They're like $1 at like Walmart. I think they're like 97 cents.
I think it's like
I
$10
bought like,
per pack, though.
yeah, I have like 3 of them, and I literally take them outside if the weather's nice. If not, I just open my blinds and do it in my kitchen. but I literally take my boards outside and I'll just like stage photos. I use like, I'll pick up random items here and there, like if I'm like out and about at the store, like, and it matches my brand colors, and I'll grab them. Like I have like pink paper clips because I was like, hey, they're pink, I can take a photo of them. You know, anytime I have like a product, or sometimes like if you get a cool gift that's pink and it matches your brand, like I'll pile everything up. Like I have a pile back here of stuff I'm gonna take photos of this week. And like I just take them outside and I lay them. And like I style them, and then when I go to post them on Instagram, I just brighten them up, because like a bright picture does so great. But I mean, that whole process is like maybe like an hour to batch like a whole bunch of photos that I now have on my phone and I can use in the future. So I love it.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and then I also, I like to intermix like content. I'll post a lot of quotes because, you know, I like quotes and I'm trying to always be consistent and present on social media. And I sometimes like just a great quote that inspires me, I want to share that with people. And I create those quotes and my graphics and like all my text overlays. I use canva.com. You know, I know how to use Photoshop, but I just feel like it's so time consuming, and Canva just makes everything like super simple, easy. It's already pre-sized. Like you don't have to be a design whiz, and it's very time efficient. Have you
Yeah,
used Canva before?
I have. I do use Canva sometimes. I use Photoshop a lot because I actually started a design business before I started jumping into all of this. So I'm pretty good at Photoshop. It doesn't take me that long. But I would use Canva a lot more. It doesn't have all my brand fonts, which is a downside of it.
You can
But
upload fonts into it now.
oh, you can? That's really awesome.
Yes.
But I do use Canva for creating all my book covers and things like that. It's a really, really awesome tool, so I definitely suggest it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, you know, I like to create some of my own content, and then I like to use stock photos because it's kind of hard when you do use a stock photo, like you do sometimes see it somewhere else. So I try to make it, you know, true to me with like a text overlay, and then also mixing in on my Instagram feed my own photos that I've taken makes like a really good combo.
Yeah, definitely. So the next thing I would like to talk about is Twitter. So why don't you start by telling us like the benefits and the downsides of Twitter for your business?
Okay. I would say the biggest downside of Twitter is, you know, you've got 90 seconds and then your tweet is basically, I mean, if you can't hit, someone doesn't see it, like the average time is within 90 seconds and it's already gone. So it doesn't last, a tweet doesn't last super long, but the great thing about it is I can tweet the same thing multiple times and it's totally okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like easy for me to promote. The best thing I love about Twitter though is like, again, it's like a whole different audience you can reach. And I've connected with a lot of business people on Twitter, you know, people that do what I do, and you always need like those business besties. But the other thing too is my click-through rate is really high on Twitter. So people are like actually clicking through to read the articles that I've linked. And, you know, that's a great, great feature about Twitter. You know, and you can still have a photo. Photos on Twitter do great. I don't know. I think it's fun to tweet. Twitter chats. I almost forgot about Twitter chats. I was going to but Twitter chats have been like one of the most productive and successful like areas for me. There's a few I like to attend, you know, and we kind of, if you're not familiar with the Twitter chat, like it's basically like someone is facilitating it and asking questions, and then everyone's tweeting with the same hashtag. But it can be a great place to like find your ideal client, find other business buddies, or even just ask for advice. I love Twitter chats.
Definitely. So what are a few tips you have for people who want to start using Twitter chats to sort of grow their profile and business, but they don't know how it can help them?
I would make sure that the chat that you choose to join is relevant to what you do. You know, if I hopped into like a cooking, you know, as a group of cooking ladies, it wouldn't really have anything to do with me or what I do. You know, I cook for my family, but I am not cooking. I'm not talking about cooking. So you want to make it relevant to like your ideal clients. Like
Right.
essentially you're looking for clients that you can make connections with. So that's, the best place to start too, if you're looking to build a presence on Twitter, you know, aside from Twitter chats, is to kind of automate tweets. So like at the first of the week, I'll set up and I'll fill up my entire Twitter queue. You know, you can use Buffer. I use Hootsuite, but Buffer is a great free option for people. buffer.com, and you can schedule all your tweets to go out at different times throughout the day. So that way, you know, you're not having to like sit and tweet all day. Like I just go in once or twice a day and I interact with people. But, you know, I'm not having to worry about constantly pushing content to Twitter. So
I
a great
am
place is to just like hook up a buffer.
I am in love with Buffer. Like I love them so much. I'm not even affiliate or anything, but I promote them. Like I'd say like twice a week on my Twitter probably. um, so it's definitely an awesome, amazing program. And I use the free version, and then I just have to go back and schedule every 2 days. But you can also use the paid version. I just don't have a card that they don't accept PayPal, so I don't use the paid version. But it's such an amazing, amazing, amazing program, and I believe it's only like $10. So
It's really cool.
yeah, it's really awesome. So the next thing that I would love to ask you a little bit about is Pinterest. So I know that there's a lot of craze around Pinterest, and I know for me it's helped me get a lot of traffic. But how can people start using Pinterest, and should they start using Pinterest? Do they need that platform?
Absolutely. And I feel like Pinterest kind of gets stuck to the side a lot because it's time consuming, but it will be, if you put the time and effort into it, it will be like one of your biggest traffic drivers to your website, like hands down. Pinterest, I'm like, we were tweeting, now we're pinning. Pinterest is all about, like you want that click through to come back to your website. It is so great for websites. You know, you put in the time and effort, like I mentioned, and you can really, really see your website, like the traffic grow. Like I love to just watch, like get on my metrics and look and see where my traffic's coming from. And Pinterest is always my second highest traffic driver. So, and I'm working on like making it my biggest because it's growing so fast for me.
Yeah,
I love Pinterest. So I was using Pinterest for a long time. If you're just getting started on Pinterest, you want to make sure you're using a business account, not a personal account. And then you want to keep those boards really branded and keep them, you know, keep the personal side out of it. And so I started and I was pinning a lot. So like I was pinning all the time, like probably at least 50 to 100 pins a day when I started. And I really just wasn't seeing any traction. And I couldn't figure out why. And so like I've taken some Pinterest course and I've like really just dove deep into Pinterest. And the big thing about it is you really have to focus on your SEO. And that was something that didn't even occur to me. Like I had named my boards like, you know, fun and creative stuff that didn't really, like I had a quotables board, you know, and really like doing the time and effort to find out what keywords should go on those boards has just like boosted like crazy. I think I gained, in the last week I looked the other day, I gained 120 followers, and that was since switching and like getting really, really particular about my SEO. So, you know, and it just continues to grow every week. So I'm just kind of at that forefront of the growth process, and just like watching this statistics start to hit my website is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, Pinterest is so, so awesome. So what are your top 3 tips for people who want to start utilizing Pinterest better?
Be consistent. You can't just pin, you know, especially when you're in growth mode, you need to be pinning 25 to 30 pins a day, like minimum.
Yeah, I pin 50 times, 30 times a day, I think.
Yeah, like you can't just like pin like 100 pins one day and then not show up till the next week. It's one of those things where you have to be there every day. But the cool thing about a pin is its life cycle is like averages about 3 months. So like you have 3 months that like that pin's getting repinned and seen, which I think is awesome because of the way Pinterest does their algorithms and their smart feeds. So that's really cool. So yeah, one tip is to be consistent. The second one would be to make a brand. You know, when I go to your boards, have everything look branded and be particular to what you do. So like you don't need to have boards that don't really make sense for your business on there. You can like create private boards, you know, where you pin like dinners you want to make or like kit projects for the kids, you know, unless you're a lifestyle blogger or something like that, it's not really going to be necessary for you. But you do want to have a couple boards that are kind of popular topics so that people are like, so if they follow you, then they're going to start seeing your other content. So just like a good mix of that. And then my third tip would be to work really hard on how you've named your boards. And then in that description, you know how you can put the description in, like just throw in keywords there that would be relevant to what you named your board. And that'll help you out a lot so that when people are searching, your boards come up.
Right. So a question a lot of people have when people suggest like adding popular topics is, what if someone follows me because they only want to see that popular topic board, but they don't care about the blogging or anything else like that?
Well, you're going to have followers that aren't always relevant to you. Your main goal, of course, is to get like people following you that could be potential clients or, you can make a connection with. But you're always going to have people that follow you, on every social media platform. And I guess Pinterest is kind of a social media platform. It's not in like the true essence a social media platform. It's more of like a discovery search engine. But, on Instagram, I get people that follow me that I don't know why they're following me, like I'm not really relevant to what they do and I would never like work with them, but it's kind of just part of the trade-off. Like you can't pick and choose who's going to be a client and who's not going to be, but maybe some point down the road, that person decides to become a blogger. You never know. So
Yeah, definitely.
It's just part of like, you win some, you lose some.
Exactly. Sorry, I have like someone calling me in the middle of this. But you're definitely right. So another thing I'd like to talk to you about, I'm sort of going through all these social media channels here, is Facebook. So
Yes.
a lot of people, they don't know whether they should be using Facebook or not. They think that it's like a platform that might not work for them. So what are your thoughts on Facebook, and why wouldn't it, or would it be good for business owners?
Facebook is great for business owners. And, it is kind of that thing. I think it's got a weird stigmatism to it lately because you do have to pay sometimes, for Facebook ads. But you can run a Facebook ad for like $4 or $5, a day for like a few days and get, some pretty good results on it. If you're just starting out, ads might not be your best bet. Your best bet for Facebook is to get into Facebook groups and start interacting with people and, start like joining the conversation and make yourself present that way. And then like it kind of all trickles into your business page. And the other, I guess my biggest advice too would be to make sure you're using a business page and not using your personal page to promote yourself, because Facebook will shut you down. But luckily, like in your Facebook profile of your personal page, you can, say you're the owner of, like mine says owner of Hype Social Strategies, and then you can just click it and go straight to my business page. So, but I don't think people should give up on Facebook yet. It's a great platform as long as you're being active and present on it. Join some Facebook groups that are, where your ideal clients would be, and like start up conversations, throw in tips. Like you'll start to see it come back to you and to your website.
Yeah, definitely. So how about Facebook groups? How helpful have they been in your business? Have they helped at all? And like, what do you think about them?
I love Facebook groups. Like I probably could talk about Facebook groups until I'm like blue in the face. They have been a life changer for me. Facebook groups are awesome because not only like if I'm having a problem and I'm stuck on something, like I can always just ask, maybe someone in the group knows something about, the World Wide Web that I couldn't figure out. But I also love because people are asking questions. And so if anyone pops in a question about social media, I try and answer it. And so I've been able to build connections that way, and I've been able to actually have paying clients from it. The other great thing is a lot of the Facebook groups will give a day that you can like promo something you've been working on. And so anytime like I put in like I advertise like my free opt-in, I always get people who go and download it and sign up. And then also like I'm able to see what cool stuff other people are working on, and then they might have something that's helpful for me as well. So it's super, super great. Facebook groups have that search tool too. So you can search for keywords. So for me, I search like social media, and then I'll see like what people are asking, and that's also great for me because I can use that for content to my blog. I'm like, oh, this is a commonly asked problem. Maybe I should blog about it, so, and then I also like, I'll answer their question too, if possible. So it's pretty cool. I love it.
Yeah, I love Facebook groups as well. They've been a really big aspect of growing my blog. And so in my traffic stats personally, it's Facebook and then Pinterest, and then Google, of course. So we've gone through Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and Facebook. So the last sort of platform I'd like to talk to you about is, hold on, forgot what I was saying. It's YouTube. And then I would like to sort of go into some content creation stuff. So, what are your thoughts on YouTube? Do you use it? And has it been helpful in your business?
So my thoughts on YouTube. So I kind of have this theory. Well, it's not a theory. I tell everyone, to pick 2 social media platforms where they know their ideal clients are at, and then focus really, really hard on those platforms. And, for me, one of them has not been YouTube. But I do like YouTube because I can, I do my blab shows and I save all my blabs and I upload them to YouTube. So I do have that resource of videos going on in YouTube, but I haven't used it as a social platform necessarily. But there are people who they put a lot of focus into it. So wherever you're trying to, whatever platform you're using, just focus really hard on it and you will see it grow. And so for me personally, that's not a channel that I've necessarily worked hard to grow. Yeah. I do know it's also integrated with Google Plus now, so you can kind of hit 2 birds with 1 stone there if you're interested in growing your Google Plus.
Definitely. I find that Google Plus is something that's sort of pushed to the side. I don't use it a lot because I'm not a big fan of the interface, but I know some people who work really hard on growing their Google Plus, and yeah, then it's going to work for you. So how about evolving? So a lot of people say, okay, pick these, like you just said, pick these platforms and pick a few platforms and work really hard. But then what happens? What if Pinterest decides to only show your posts if you pay for them? What if Twitter closes down? What if something happens to those platforms that you've worked so hard on growing a following on? What can you do next?
That's such a great question. And that's why you don't just put all your eggs in one basket. So I think one of the biggest things is the email subscribers. If you're having free opt-ins and you're getting people to subscribe to your email list, you'll always have those email names. But then, and so that's a pool of potential clients that you can utilize. And then say you wake up one day and Facebook, the government shut Facebook down or something random. I'm trying to think of why would Facebook be shut down? But it's very, very possible, that it turns into a MySpace.
Yeah, like a MySpace.
It just disappears, So that's kind of why I focus hard on Facebook and I focus hard on Instagram, and then I have my Twitter and my Pinterest. So I'm using multiple platforms to kind of grow my business, and I'm focusing on them. So yeah, if you were only focusing on Facebook and then Facebook shut down and you didn't have any email names, you didn't have a blog, it would be super hard for you to start up and grow a business. So you want to have a backup plan almost, but at the same time, you're just growing your business with this backup plan.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess the only way that we would all be shut, I guess if the internet just disappeared, we'd just all be screwed.
Yes, definitely. So the next thing I will sort of related is how can we get those followers into our email list? How can we convert them into not just Twitter or Pinterest followers? How can we actually take them from that platform to make them like ours, our email subscribers?
Absolutely. So you need to come up with a great opt-in, and that's something that you give away for free to people in exchange for their email list, or for their email address, excuse me. So for me, I have tons of downloads that you can download for free. I don't know if have you been into my resource library before? I am constantly adding new things to it that people can opt in. It can be something as simple as a spreadsheet that I created to keep track of Facebook groups, or it could be more in depth. I do have my 7-day Instagram jam that I give away for free. And it's essentially it's a lot of knowledge about Instagram that I stuck into a workbook. And that's something that I just give to people. But I am stealing their email address. So, that's how I think opt-ins are pretty much the only way to build your email list.
Yeah.
And then I send out a weekly newsletter to my email subscribers to keep them engaged. And sometimes I'll give them extra freebies, a big a discount code, or I'll give them a free download, something like that.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely need to keep your followers engaged, and because you can't lose them once you don't. Those unsubscribes can be good because you're weeding them down, but for the people who really would be right for your list, if you sort of go MIA on them, you're going to lose all those subscribers because they're not going to remember who you are. So it's definitely something that's really, really important.
Definitely. Sorry, my like plug wasn't all the way in and my battery was dying. I was like, no, don't die.
Oh, it's okay. All right, so the next thing I'd like to talk about is content. So what should you put on your social media platforms? I guess we can start with Twitter.
So I create like content, but I'll basically share the same content to all my platforms. So like I'll create one post, one picture and one caption, and then I'll share it to the same platforms. And I vary my content. I have an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I'm providing real value. I'm giving people a reason to follow me. There might be part of that 80% of the time I might just post something funny, like it's part of my voice and my personality. And then my 20% of the time is when I hard sell. And so I kind of like, people are there to be social, and you don't want to just be pitching buy now, buy now, buy now at them all the time. And so mixing that kind of 80-20 into it, you're going to build relationships with people. And then when they like see a post where you're selling something, they're like, hey, that's cool. So it's not just, it's a balance of like what kind of content you share.
Yeah, definitely. So next, how about if someone wanted to start creating video content, how would they go about that? Do you think that video or audio content is a good alternative, or do you think that people should stick to writing? What's your opinions?
Video content is, it's huge. This next year, you're going to see video content kind of blow up. So, and it's just starting to get there. So you're ahead. You're on the right track by creating these awesome videos for people. But even like a 15-second video for Instagram, it does great. Like people stop and watch it. And, especially Facebook, does great there as well. And it can be, Instagram just limits it to 15 seconds, but Facebook, you could have several minutes. But so the next time you're scrolling through Facebook, you're going to catch yourself doing this. You stop and you watch those videos. Like I'll watch like the food videos all the time. And then I'm like, why did I just watch that? But
I know.
Video really catches your eyes, and like it keeps you engaged and you want to see what's going on. So like if you can record yourself talking or like take a little snippet of something, it always does amazing well. I just started working with a photographer to do like flat lays, like desk, like a phone camera, that stuff like that, in like a video form with like some sound in the background. And so I'm just kind of starting to get into it, and I'm really excited to see how it does. I did use like the videos that I have posted on Facebook, the short little clips that she sent me, have done like, it's amazing like how much people interact on them. Like they stop and watch them. And Facebook tells you too, when someone pauses on it and watches it, it like counts it as a view. So like if they're just scrolling through really fast, I'm like, this is my scrolling finger. They're scrolling through really fast. Facebook doesn't count that, but if they actually stop and watch it, it lets you know. So it's really cool.
Yeah, totally. So I definitely think that video content is going to be growing really fast. So if you want to sort of be ahead of the game, you can jump onto that. But the next thing I'd like to talk about is how can we use social media to sell more of our products and services?
By actually like saying I have a product to offer and this is what I'm selling. I think people get too worried about like being promotional that they forget to let people know what they do. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. So my answer is just to actually start selling. Be like, I have this for sale. Here's the link, like let people know what you do and who you are.
Definitely. So the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is what would you say are your biggest tips for people if they want to sort of brand their social media profiles? So like their bio, their images, how can they keep it so that people automatically recognize them? Like, oh, that's Sasha, I should follow her.
Okay, so you want to use like the same profile picture on every platform. You want to have the same description of what you do on every platform. And then everything you're posting, you want it to look true to your brand. Like I think we kind of touched on this earlier. Using the same colors. Like I've had people like message me and be like, is this your photo? Like, because it looked like something that I would do, I'm like, no, it's not. But, you want people to like, be like, hey, that's Samantha. That's Hype Social Strategies, you know? So just staying like super, super true to your brand. Everything you do needs to have your brand kind of mixed into it. So that's a great question.
Yeah, definitely. Even like people who really awesome brands who usually they're designers, they'll like take a picture of the sky and it'll have like their brand colors in it. And they won't even paint that. They'll just be like, "Oh, look, the sunset looks like my brand." And
No, that's exactly true. I went to, I don't know if they do this everywhere, but they have the home shows here. It's a parade of home, and basically like these big builders, they build like these $1 million homes, and then like you go tour them. It's really cool. So they like have new houses every year. This year they had like 30, which is crazy. But so I was going through the home tours, and anytime I would see, you know, because they're all staged, like super fun too. I'm like, oh, that's hot pink. I took a picture of it, you know. Oh, that's a white notebook. Like I took a picture of it, and I've posted some of them on my social media feeds. So
yeah.
just like you start picking up on it everywhere you go. Like I even noticed like I write with pink markers, and then I'm like, why am I writing with pink markers, you know? I'm like, I have like all these markers. And so it's kind of like you really like you just need to engrave that brand into your soul and like don't let it go. Like be true to it.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So we're coming to the end of our interview. So I have 3 questions that I ask every single guest on this summit, and this will also be going on the podcast. So the first question I have for you, what is your biggest tip for people who are working really, really hard to sort of get that social media off the ground, but they don't know what they're doing wrong?
So a few things might be, you know, you might not be consistent, and a lot of people don't realize, you know, they're like, oh, I'm posting a few times a week. You know, I'm not getting traction from it. And it's like you have to post every day, and then you also have to show up and interact with people. You know, you have to comment back, you have to follow new accounts, you have to build an audience. So, and then the other thing might be a common mistake I see if it's Instagram is they're not using hashtags. So like, you know, build a list of 30 hashtags and use all 30. Like they're little search engine tools for you. Use them. You will love them.
Definitely, definitely. So the second question I have for you is, what has been the biggest thing that has helped you sort of grow your business online this year?
The biggest thing for me has been, I think probably like joining Facebook groups has been huge for me. And then also just being really active in Instagram. You know, both of those have helped me grow my business immensely. Like I have people contacting me, you know, directly, like I've seen you on Instagram, you know, so that's really awesome. And the other thing too is I think people forget is, you know, social networks, it's networking. And if you're in any business, networking is key. But, you know, also don't forget to utilize like in-person networking. That's been, you know, like give yourself a day, maybe join like a networking group, and don't forget about making those personal connections as well.
Yeah, definitely. So the last thing I have to ask you is, you are so awesome, as people can probably see through this interview, but how can we support you and sort of find out more about you?
So you can visit my website, hypesocialstrategies.com. And then I have my blog on there, and my blog has tons and tons of resources. So there's like I've mentioned through this interview multiple times, like I have e-courses and workbooks you can download, and, you know, just printables. So I'm always putting something new up all the time. So if you ever have a social media question, you might be able to find the answer on my blog, which is great. I do consulting, and I do work one-on-one with clients as well. So yeah, just check out my website, and like all my info's there. I love working with people and like helping them set a strategy up and then watching them execute it. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then you can find me on Instagram at Hype Social Strategies, and then everywhere else I'm just at Hype Social Strat, because I had to cut it down.
Okay, so that's the end of this amazing interview with Samantha Parker of Hype Social Strategies. I'll see you guys in the very next interview, where I'm going to be interviewing Indigo Colton all about using a VA in your brand and sort of systematizing your business. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this interview, and I will see you next time.